Hello, Facebook fam and YouTube fam. So today is 9 days left for the release of the GFF program, Get Free and Fulfilled. And I feel like I'm sort of doing like what's it called, a New Year's Eve countdown when you go like 9, 8, 7, 6, all of that stuff. But yes, 9 days to the launch of the GFF program. And today we're going to talk about reducing stress. I feel like I've talked about a lot of things, but stress is something that is so common and that is so familiar to all of us, men, women, whoever we are. We know what that feeling is like. We feel it, but I want to talk about, first of all, like, where does it come from? Like, why are we stressed in our daily lives? Where does it come from? And I think first and foremost, it's really, we tend to think of stress as something out there externally that is causing us to feel stress. But I think the, like, sort of like a root cause, the deep root cause of stress is pressure that is building up within us from things that we have not looked at and dealt with for a long time. So as the pressure is building up from suppressed and repressed feelings, it rises up. So, when you have pressure building up and it's coming up, it gets to a point where you can't really push it back down because it's so much. There's no space for it to go back down. So it has to come out, and it comes out in ways that maybe is not serving us. And also, those external stress factors that happen become like the perfect excuse for us to be like, yes, I am stressed for that reason. I am stressed because of COVID, or I am stressed because, of my boss or whoever. They're not necessarily the root cause of the stress, but they're more like the precipitating factor. It's a precipitating stress factor, but it's not necessarily the cause of it. It's something that happens. You're like, yes, now I can use that thing to express my stress, my, all the pressure that I've been feeling. So that's actually, I feel like that I did. So I worked as a nanny at a job that I had for 4 years. I was working as a nanny taking care of kids, and I was getting paid $900 a week for 4 years. Like, for 4 years, I was paying $900 a week, and I grew very resentful of the fact that I was not getting a raise. I was like, wow, I deserve a raise. Why am I not, getting a raise? So I like built up this idea and mindset that, that person who hired me, it's her fault. She was the reason why I didn't get the raise. So I built up a lot of, and the root cause of it was not really her. The root cause of it, the real problem was me not having the courage to ask for it in the first place. I was at a place of such low self worth that I just could not bring myself to ask for the raise. But I decided to not really look at that self-worth that was, within me. I was like, yeah, like, it's too uncomfortable to acknowledge that at the time that I had low self-worth. I was not at a place where I could truly be honest with myself and acknowledge that the issue is not her giving me the raise. The issue is me with the low self-worth and not having enough um, self-esteem to ask for it. So I just kept that to the side and decided, I'm going to blame her. She did not give me the raise that I deserved. So I grew more resentful and more angry at her. And I just picked up and, I left the job. I mean, I gave her a notice and all of that. But the whole meaning and explanation that I had built in my mind was that I am too stressed by this job that's not paying me well. I am too stressed by this job that's just taking advantage of me, and I'm not getting paid, and I'm not getting any raises for 4 years. So there was a lot of story and resentment that I was building up. And that pressure and that stress grew bigger and bigger. And I just, like, I left without, having any savings or anything. So this is just to highlight the fact that, yes, I did not get the raise in that moment, but to me, that was an excuse, a nicely built excuse for me to leave, and also for me to get angry, to get resentful and leave the job, as opposed to looking at the true core issue of why am I not getting the raise? of why am I truly stressed about this. I was not, the anger may have been misdirected at her. It was more towards me, and the fact that I was not at a place where I could look at her in the eye and say, listen, I want a raise. I deserve a raise. I was at a place where I could not do that. So, because it was something that I was feeling, and I just repressed that feeling of low self worth. I just could not get to a place of even allowing myself to feel those negative feelings. And then I projected it out. This is just to highlight that something that we do. Again, stress is something that we kind of push down for a long time, and then something happens on the outside, like an outside event, or we see, oh, the government is doing this and that, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to get mad, to get angry, to get resentful, to act in a way that is not serving me, rather than looking at what is the root cause of this. First of all, where am I picking up? What is it within me that I have not looked at, that I am still avoiding, that is causing me to build up so much pressure within me that I am looking for something outside to blame it on. So the external factors are more of like, they become like the last straw that broke the camel's back. It's not actually what caused it, but it is the thing that just is like the last drop, and we just kind of like explode. But the pressure was building within us from for a long time. We just ignored it, and ignored it for so long that something happens outside. It's just the perfect excuse for us to dump it all on that thing that's happening outside of us. And I feel like we see that often a lot, especially with COVID and things happening. And it's like the perfect occasion for us to blame our stress, our fears, because there's a lot of fears with it. People are very, fearful. Hopefully it's like going down, but you see people talking in very fearful manners. It's like, oh my God, the world is going to end. What am I going to do with my life? I have nothing. COVID left me without a job, all of which may be true, but what is behind that? What is underneath the outside factor that, yes, I lost my job because of COVID? But what is underneath that? What is that fear, that underlying fear is deeper than just the outside events that are happening. And this goes back to sort of the avoiding the pain. That's where it stems from. We're constantly avoiding the pain and the fear of looking at our inner selves. A lot of us, because it's not easy, it's not comfortable, so it's easier for us to distract than to look at. We're always looking for the next new thing, the novel thing to do, to have some fun, to get excited. I feel like I fell into it also with the NFT craze. Everybody's talking about the NFTs and all of that crypto discourse that's going on, and got into it, meaning it was a great distraction for me to go in there and just stop doing what I want to be doing, which meaning my own personal growth journey, which I love doing. But I understand also sometimes you do want to take a break from all of that. But everybody, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are falling into the NFT conversation. It's great to learn about it and know about it, but at the same time, being careful to have it not be another distraction away from what we should be focusing on in the first place, away from the things that we are more sort of important for us to focus on right now. So I enjoyed the conversations. I hear about, I said, oh, this is so cool. I did not invest in it, and I felt the FOMO. Honestly, it's like, I'm missing out. But then I came back to my senses, realizing that this is not the time for me to invest in that. First of all, I have more pressing goals, more pressing things to worry about right now. So let's focus on that. And what is the pressing thing for me right now? It is to keep going further into my own growth, to keep going further into my own healing, and also to invite other people who also want to get on their own healing and, journey towards fulfillment. That is the thing that I want to focus on, as opposed to all the distractions that are so easy to fall into. And it's like not to blame anything or anyone. It is just for up to us to go back to sort of the main thing that is the reason why we're here, to find that reason first of all, and always go back to that. And it starts with feeling the emotions that we're feeling within us. What is it that we're feeling within us? I want to escape it, but I know it would serve me, or it would behoove me to focus on that feeling just for a little bit, to kind of identify it, feel it, and allow it to move through us. And it's that simple. And I've said it already, I feel like a million times, but it's worth repeating over and over, because that's what it comes down to, is to allow ourselves to not get distracted all the time, to stop looking for the outside distractions and bring ourselves back to what's going within us internally. That's where the work is. That's where the amazing reward is. It's to come back to what's going on within us internally. What is happening? Feel it, however uncomfortable it may seem, because the more you do it, the less uncomfortable it is. And you start to what's the word? You start to expect it, and just it becomes the norm for you. It's not familiar yet, but the more you do it, it becomes normal. It becomes familiar, and it becomes just something that you do. Yeah, I notice it. It's like you want to go to a point where you never let a negative emotion go by without being checked, without being acknowledged. So for me, that's really the goal. I want to get to a place that I am so aware of what is going on within me internally, that not an emotion goes by unchecked. Not an emotion will pass by me without me acknowledging it. And it doesn't take long. It literally can take seconds to acknowledge an emotion. It's like, yeah, I am feeling envy. I am feeling jealousy. Just connect with it for a few seconds and then go about your day. But it's like when we do that, the more we do it, it's easy. And when we connect with our body that way, we also connect with our own intuition. We connect with our own knowingness. So we go from a place of thinking all the time to a place of knowing, having that knowing and that knowingness and that safety and security within us. That's the place to be. At least for me, that's what I strive for every day. And with that said, just giving out, to sort of close it off, which is talking about ways to reduce stress. First and foremost, I believe the best way to reduce stress is to release those negative emotions that we have suppressed for so long. Goes back to what I talked about earlier, like those emotions and feelings that we have suppressed, pushed down for a long time, pressure building up, rising up. It is time to release it. And if we still try to push it down or sort of turn it out into the world, it's still not releasing it, because we're still not allowing ourselves to feel it. So allowing ourselves to feel those emotions coming up, that's a great way to start releasing and reducing stress, because you feel it and it starts moving through you, and you're no longer afraid of being with yourself, being with your body, your internal self, and your thoughts. Because it's a lot of us maybe are not used to being with me, myself, and I. We're always going outside and finding the distractions because it's easy, it's comfortable. It's like we're running constantly. Running from what? We're running from ourselves. We're running from our emotions and our feelings by going outside, or we're numbing ourselves so that we don't feel those emotions through food, through alcohol, through drugs, or any of that stuff that, it's like just sometimes what we engage in as human beings. And it's not qualifying it as good or bad. It's just, it is what it is. It's sort of like a coping mechanism, a survival mechanism that it may have helped us survive to a certain point, but it's really not serving us when we see, first of all, how it's impacting our body, our gut health, our physical body, but also how it's keeping us from feeling, not just keeping us from feeling negative emotions, but it's also keeping us from feeling positive emotions, because you just get to a point you're completely numb something beautiful is happening out to the world, into the world, or you just, hear a beautiful bird singing, but you can't quite get to the place of feeling the joy, of feeling the happiness and the peace, because when you numb everything. It's not like you can select to numb the negative and then select to feel the joy. Like it numbs you overall. So it's really about feeling, whether it's, I don't really want to qualify it as good or bad, whether it's something that's serving us or not serving us. There's still a revelation there, there's still a lesson there, there's still something that is being shown to us. I'm feeling that anger, I'm feeling that envy or jealousy for a reason. It is telling me something about myself. It's telling me something that I haven't looked at. And I feel like that's a gift. It's beautiful. It's not something to be tucked away, which I know I did for a long time. I just pushed it down and tucked away. But now when I notice that feeling rise in me, I can get curious about it. First of all, feel it and get curious. Where is that coming from? And it sounds, like when I was not used to it, it sounded exhausting to think, oh my God, I gotta go down there and find out what what this is about. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, and then it's faster. It doesn't really take long. It's like, yeah, I know that feeling of envy. I know that feeling of jealousy. It's only telling me that that's that thing that I'm seeing, and I sort of have this feeling of jealousy towards it, is just more of an expander. It's telling me, it's like, there's this woman that I love, Lacey Phillips. She coined that phrase, expander, which is like, it's showing you just something that you want. It's just showing you something that may be part of your identity, or the identity that you want, that you strive for. It's showing you that. So it's just expanding your mindset, and to see it's like, oh, rather than saying, oh man, I wish I had this, I don't have it. It's like, oh, so this is actually possible for me. I see this, I see it to believe that if that person can have that, or she or he seems very similar to me, if she can have that, then I can have it. But it's like, why why am I not there yet? And that is about going deeper into our own, usually childhood. It's our own programming, whatever it is that we picked up. Usually those are the reasons that are blocking us from welcoming the things that we want in life. For instance, welcoming maybe freedom that we want in life, for maybe financial freedom, or welcoming a relationship, or finding fulfillment in our work. We want those things, but there are blocks usually that's keeping us from that. And those blocks are rooted into the subconscious mind. They're rooted into the way we were programmed by our caregivers. So it's about going back there and looking into it and just kind of unraveling those deeply ingrained beliefs, and then putting in the beliefs that we actually want. That's what reprogramming is. And that's why I love hypnosis. And that's why it's something that I believe in so deeply, that I will be, for anyone who wants to join the Get Free and Fulfilled program. We're going to be doing a lot of that work, which is to go back and reprogram the sort of limiting beliefs that we picked up as kids that are not serving us today, because we want certain things, but because we have such deep rooted beliefs, it's blocking us from welcoming the things that we want. So we have to remove those things. And that's what I help people do. It's like, remove all of that stuff that no longer serves us. And all of that is rooted into the subconscious mind. What that means is, we're not even aware of it for the most part. We're not aware of it. It's totally playing into the subconscious mind, but it is controlling how we show up into the world. And we want to change that. And in order to change it, we have to go in deeper to just get rid of that stuff and put in the stuff that we actually want. So that is all I wanted to share with you today. And just to give some tips with like reducing stress, I mentioned allowing ourselves to feel the feelings, the positive and the negative, but also meditation. And I feel like meditation, like, is everything is even sitting and feeling, allowing yourself to feel feelings, that's a form of meditation. It's it can be done anywhere, any place, consistently. And of course, breathing is a good way to do it. Like breath work. Um, I really don't do much of breath work, but I know it's something that I would like to incorporate into my own practice. But I've heard of many people mentioning breathwork being very healing and very useful and an amazing way to reduce stress. So I just wanted to mention that. And also dance. Like I discovered recently five rhythm dance, which is like actually I have someone who is like one of my favorite five rhythm teachers. He's going to be coming on the Get Free and Fulfilled podcast very soon. And he when I discovered it in over the summer, it just it felt me, it left me with a lot of freedom within myself. It left me with also feeling very healed, like because when you go in there, you're allowed to, you allow yourself to feel your body. You allow your body to move however the fuck it wants to move. And that's what I think it's so beautiful about it. I went at the time when I went, I was ready. I believe it's because I was ready to really get in there and really just have no expectations and just completely surrender to the experience. I was in that mindset. So when I went in, it was just freaking fantastic. So that's another thing. If it doesn't have to be five rhythm, just dance, put on some music and, see what your body wants to do and you see, let it do it. It's like we don't even, it's about letting go of control. Because also when we're stressed and if the pressure is coming up, it's because we have pushed it down. And when we're pushing it down, what we're doing, we're trying to control it. So dance is a great way to let go of control, to just focus on the feeling of your body and how it wants to move. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful way to release stress. And it's not worrying about how it looks to other people. And if you are at a place, maybe you're not in a place yet where you're maybe ready to go out and dance in front of people, then do it at home by yourself. Put on some music and move. And I promise you, it's very healing. It's movement to me is like it's healing, it's freeing, but it's you release energy because when you move, you are letting go of trapped energy because we have sometimes a lot of trapped energy in our body. So when we move, we're releasing it. Like you feel the heat, you feel the energy, you feel the just the movement. It's exciting, it's fun, and it's a release. So that's a great way to reduce stress, I feel. And try it out, turn on some music, sing and dance by yourself with someone else, doesn't matter, just start moving in a fun way. And for me, it's even like a great way to exercise. And I don't necessarily have to go to the gym. Not a fan of the gym, but put on some music, I dance and have fun. And it's exercise. You release stress, you release energy, and you have fun doing it. So that is all I wanted to share with you today. Happy Saturday, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.